Let's sing words army. I need never munch in the infantry, wide in the gallery, shoot the artillery. I need never fly or dance. I am the world's army. Yes, sir. I am the world's army. Yes, sir. I am the world's army. Yes, sir. I may never march in the infantry, fight in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never fly or the enemy. I am the world's army.
Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. And wide, and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. And wide, and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing, there's a fountain flowing, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide.
Jesus loves the little ones like
Me.
Jesus loves the little ones like
Me.
little ones like me, sat upon his knee. Jesus loves the little ones like
Me. Okay.
Hey everybody, we are so glad that you came to Bible class today. We have been learning all about Abram, and we learned about how God asked him to pack up his family and all of his things and to move to a new land. Then we learned about how Abram was a peacemaker when his servants and Lot's servants were arguing and fighting because they had so many animals that there wasn't enough food and water for all of the animals. And last week, we learned about how Abram stood up for what was right when some enemies came and they captured Lot and his family and they carried them off, and Abram had to go and rescue them. We have seen a lot of wonderful things about the kind of man that Abram was and why God would especially choose him. Well, this week we will learn about what God especially chose him for. Are you ready? In our Bibles in Genesis, God makes Abram some special promises. Promise number 1. God tells Abram that this land that he has moved into, all of that land is going to belong to his descendants. Do you remember what a descendant is? A descendant means your children, and their children, and their children, and their children, and all the people in your family that come after you. So God tells Abram that this land that he trusted God and he moved to is going to belong to his family. Now, promise number 2. God told Abram to count the stars. Do you think you could count the stars? Can you count the stars?
Yeah.
No. Abram couldn't either. Well, God told Abram that was how many descendants he was going to have. He was going to have more descendants than you could ever count. And he promised that to Abram. Well, Abram didn't even have any children yet. So, that was promise number 2. Then God did one more thing. God changed their names. God changed Abram's name from Abram to Abraham. Abraham means father of many. So every time Abram said his new name, Abraham, he would be reminded of God's promise to make him into a great nation. Then God changed Sarai's name to Sarah. And Sarah means princess. And God changed her name to this because he said she was going to be the mother of a son, and there would be more and more and more people who would come from his family, from their descendants, and some of them would even be kings. So now, instead of Abram and Sarai, we have Abraham and Sarah. Abraham believed in God. He trusted that what God promised was going to come true. And it did. We will learn more about that later in the Bible, but for right now, what I want us to learn is that we can trust in God, that God has a plan, and that God can use us in that plan. So we want to be like Abram or Abraham. We want to obey God. We want to trust God. We want to be peacemakers, and we want to stand up for what is right. We will learn more about Abraham next time. Bye, guys.
Jesus gives me, yes, I know. For the Bible tells me so. Little ones to and beyond, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus helps me. Yes, Jesus helps me. Yes, Jesus helps me.
Bye bye.
Bible tells me so. In the beginning God made the sea, and the forest filled with trees. He made the mountains up so high, at the top you touch the sky. His fingerprints are everywhere, just to show how much he cared. In the beginning had lots of fun. He made a hippo the way to turn. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Hip, 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 hippopotamus. Hip, hip, hooray, God made all of us. Come with me to dump and hop, dump and hop, dump and hop. Come with me.